Hello and welcome to yet another edition of Felixstowe Matters. Now it's a dull, gloomy day outside, full of mist. I hope you look at our webcam, the one that's on the sea all the time, because the sea looks very dull today. But I'm going to cheer you up because we've got someone very special with us today, and a lot of you see the people in the army. Now what do they do when they leave the army, and how are their lives in the army? So I'd like to welcome our guest today. It's David Greenwood. Welcome to nice to have you with us. Now I'm fascinated by this because you've spent how long in the army, David?
I was in the army for 24 years.
24 years, that's a long time, isn't it? And you went straight from school into the army, I think.
That's correct, yeah. I left the school in May and I joined up in June into junior leaders.
Gosh, that's right. And you came out as a sergeant. So
that's correct, yeah.
After 25 years, I think that's pretty good going.
It was okay.
And what did you do in the army? What was your main...
Well, I was in the corps of the Royal Electrical Mechanical Engineers.
Yes.
And my job was with the responsibility of recovery of vehicles and equipments.
I see. So if a vehicle was blown up with a mine, you had to go and collect it.
That's correct, yeah. Or if it broke down or just generally got stuck, it was our responsibility to go in and recover them from that situation.
But was there a big team of you doing that? Or?
Well, actually, no, we worked in small teams, depending on the type of vehicle that we was on, but anything from, teams of 4, to be fair.
Really?
Yeah.
And where did you serve? Where did you do this?
I spent a lot of years in Germany.
Germany? And what did you think of Germany?
I did like Germany.
Why did you like Germany?
I
like Germany. But
I think there was a lot to do for us as young soldiers. We would go down to Bavaria to do our skiing and other type activities.
Yes.
Great cities to visit, Berlin in particular, Hanover, Hamburg. So always somewhere to go and to visit.
Gosh, and you were there when the wall came down, I understand.
We was, yeah. The wall came down in '89. That's right.
Oh, so that was an experience.
Well, obviously with that was the change, wasn't it? The beginning of the change from the Cold War aspect of things as well.
Of course it was, yes.
So, yeah.
Oh, you certainly were a very interesting period of history.
Yeah, true enough, yeah.
And of course, Iraq as well, I hear.
Yeah, I've served twice in Iraq. I went to the first Gulf War in 1990.
Goodness.
And again for the second Gulf War in 2003.
Gosh, that's fascinating. What did you think of Iraq? I mean, what was your general impression of the country?
The general impression of the country? Well, obviously we spent a lot of time in the deserts, of course.
Yes.
But, when we were going into various places, obviously we saw a lot of destruction and such like. Obviously very, very different to what we have back in the UK, lacking sometimes in infrastructure and such like. So very hot, of course.
And a different culture completely.
Massive different cultures, obviously, yeah.
People don't appreciate the difference in the culture. I think they want to get them all up to our standards.
That's correct.
But you just can't do it,
you can't
unfortunately.
Do it, can you? No.
So many of them haven't got anything at all, and if you haven't got anything, you don't mind what you do because you're not going to lose anything.
That's very true.
So sometimes the standards are a little different. Yes. And how did you have any social life with the people in these different countries? Or?
Not at the time I was there. I know that we sort of went into that hearts and mind type scheme of it all, where we were sort of working within the community areas and. There were people doing the rebuilding of bridges and such like. And yes, of course enough, if a young Iraqi, would come up to you and try and engage in conversation, normally what would get things going is a game of football or something. There was always this fascination with football. Yes. You see all the sort of the football shirts around with the young people. So if you wanted to sort of have something in common and talk about something, it was normally based around football.
It's pretty good, isn't it? And of course you're ambassadors for England.
Ambassadors for Britain, yes, indeed we are, yeah.
Yes, no, that's fascinating. And then of course, when you came, of course, you were married while you were in the army.
That's correct, yeah.
Did you marry while you were in the army? Or?
Yeah, I did, yeah. I got married sort of a couple of years in.
Yes. Any children? Or?
I have a daughter, Eden. She's 21.
Gosh, that's nice. And she's travelling. She's got your travelling.
Yeah. She's away in New Zealand. She's been there 12 months, and she's come back, and she's got a new visa to extend that for a further 12 months.
But people don't realise that people in the army, our armed forces, their marriages suffer, don't they? I think.
Yeah, it's very difficult to maintain. Because you are away a great deal, and then there's the whole aspect of trying to settle, where do you settle down, when do you move your family back home to possibly start settling up, so it is a stressful time. And obviously 'cause the area I was in the army with, in between the two Gulf Wars, you had a lot of tours away in Bosnia,
Oh, I see.
Kosovo, and all that sort of
You
thing.
went there as well?
I went there as well, so all that was going on. So, so yeah, it's difficult times. Difficult times.
And your marriage was a casualty?
It was actually, yeah.
Yes,
one of the few, well, many, should I say?
Yes, well, this is right.
Yeah,
I understand it's very common.
Yeah, well, I think that obviously the army are doing their very, very best, aren't they?
Yes.
So, better housing, better accommodation for them, so that which could be a factor of it. But they are. I do know that that's something that they're definitely working on.
So when you came out of the army, there you were. You 25 years with the army and mechanical. And what did you do with yourself?
What I did, I was quite sensible really. In the run up to leaving the forces, I got myself qualified as a tree surgeon.
Now, tree surgeon, that's a difference from engineering.
I know. I did a little bit of forestry work while I was in the army, while I was away on leave and such like. So I got an interest in that.
Yes.
And for the last sort of 4 to 5 years, through going to college, night school, correspondence courses and such like, I got myself qualified to operate and work as a tree surgeon.
Tree surgeon. Tell me, what does a tree surgeon actually do? Because to me, it's just a name. But
well, it's not. It's with a tree surgery. The sort of work I was doing was like urban tree surgery. So you would be called out. Your customers would normally be, householders or businesses.
Yes. You're working for a private firm.
Yeah, well, I was self-employed. I was working for myself.
You were self-employed.
I was self-employed. So I had my own kit. And you go out, and they'll probably have a tree in their garden that's probably getting too big.
Yes.
And they would call you in, and they would ask you to, what's the best way to look after this tree from now on?
Yes.
And you do a form of reduction on the tree, obviously during the correct time of year.
Yes.
Because you don't work on trees all year round, or certain trees you don't. So that's the sort of thing you would do. If they've got a damaged tree, you would take the tree down for them.
Yes.
Because you've got to do all the climbing work, so you do all take the trees down. If you've got a tree that's, as I said, getting too big, you reduce that.
Yes.
If there's like dead wood in a tree, which could fall out, and there's duty of care, isn't there? You look after a tree if it's a big tree.
Yes.
So there's just, plus you also look after hedges.
Hedges.
The leyland eyes obviously is normally a common thing, isn't it?
Yes.
You look after the hedges and that as well.
Gosh,
so
that's a great enterprise.
It's a good work. It's good work.
So really, you came out of the army, you did that, but at the same time as you were doing that, you were doing youth work as well.
That's right. Yeah, I got to work with an organisation which obviously we're going to talk about more extensively, Catch 22.
Yes.
And I worked with them for about 8 months as a volunteer.
Did you get in touch with them while you were doing the tree surgery?
Yeah, I was looking for something else to do, as well as my tree work. And I understand there was this organisation, and they were specifically working with young offenders at the time.
Really? Yes.
And I went along to an induction day. I got to speak to some of those that are already working in that field, and I liked the look of it, and that's what I did.
Yes. So this is Catch 22. Now tell me something a bit about Catch 22, because Catch 22 has got a phrase about it, hasn't it?
That's correct, yeah.
So tell us a little bit about Catch 22.
Well, a little bit more about the name, because it's always, because we have that Catch 22 situation.
Yes.
And the idea is that we provide solutions to get young people out of those Catch 22 solutions.
Yes.
So it's it's a charity-based organisation.
Yes.
It was formed by 2 other charities, which was Rainer and Crime Concern. They brought those together.
Crime Concern.
Crime Concern was the original name.
Was it?
Or part of the original name.
Yes.
And it's UK wide.
Yes.
And we're looking after young people from as young as 10 up to, say, 25 years of age.
And these are the ones who've erred a little, they've gone off the beaten.
Well, not always. The project that I was in was specifically for that.
Yes, yes.
But we also we do sport and leisure type activities with mainstream schools as well, with a project called Positive Futures.
Yes.
We do mentoring schemes.
What sort of schemes?
Mentoring.
What is that exactly?
Well, you have a young person that's probably not engaging particularly well. He's not gone off the rails, he's not in trouble, but he's not engaging particularly well with school friends or with family or indeed teachers.
And there are more and more youngsters like that today, unfortunately.
Yeah, there just seem to be young people that they're not that keen to be out there and and engaging. So we'll provide activities to do that. We'll work with them on one-to-one, but we'll also do sort of activities where they can come in together with their mentors and And we're sort of running something like that, but that's sort of based around sort of sport and leisure activities.
That's very good, isn't it? And so you while you were doing your tree surgery, you were volunteering for this youth work, which is jolly good. And then what happened? Tell me.
Well, what I decided to do was go more and more into the youth work.
Yes.
And so they would give me a set of hours to do a week.
Yes.
And in the end I sort of came to a contract now where I've been sort of working, apart from this year, say 25 hours a week.
I see.
So 25 hours of my week would now be with youth work,
Yes.
and then I'll reduce my tree side of life down
I see,
smaller,
yes.
and do more and more work with the youth
Do you
projects.
still do any tree surgery?
I did actually do some hedge work over the summer, just
Did
to keep my hand in.
I see.
Yeah.
Oh, you're a man of many parts.
Many tasks, yeah.
Which is very good. Now, coming back to Catch-22, you've got a thing called the National Citizen Service. Now, what exactly is the National Citizen Service?
That is a programme that we ran in the summer. We've run it for the last 2 summers, in fact.
Yes.
And we're now going to deliver a similar programme over the autumn.
Yes.
And it's about bringing young people together
Yes.
to work in their teams. For the summer programme, we delivered it for 90 young people from the whole of Suffolk.
Really? What sort of age group is that?
They're aged 15. For the summer programme, they were 15 and 16-year-olds.
Yes.
And for the autumn programme that we're delivering now is for
Yes.
16 and 17-year-olds. So it's those that would have left school this August.
Oh, I see. Oh, that's
Yeah.
very good, isn't it? And these are the ones, presumably, they haven't found work yet, so you are, in effect, equipping them for finding work.
Well, yes, and it's also, we're finding that our recruiting is done mainly in the colleges, because it's going to be delivered over the October half term,
Yes.
and then it's going to be on sort of consecutive Saturdays for 6 weeks, starting in
see.
November.
So
So,
every Saturday they can come on it.
yeah, that's the idea, is
Yes.
because they are going to be engaged in the week, possibly in school or college.
Yes.
So the idea is that we're going to set up, and this group that's going to stick together, we're going to have 30 young people.
30.
15 will be based in Ipswich,
Yes.
and 15 will be based in Bury St
This is
Edmunds.
for girls and boys.
Girls
I
and
think.
boys, yeah,
Yes,
from
yes.
any backgrounds, mainstream school, additional needs,
Yes.
or those that are not even in education or training or employment.
see. So this means that anybody who knows a teenager, in effect, it's available for
It
them.
is available. As much as we are delivering this programme as of Monday by going around this residential, which
Yes.
we will talk about,
Yes.
we still have sort of 2 or 3 places left on this programme.
Have they? Oh, well, let's hope they are. If you know anybody, get them to apply, because this sounds marvellous. Now tell me, what sort of things do they do?
Well, the phase that we're in now is we're recruiting now,
Yes.
and that they'll start off with what we call the beginning, and they'll do icebreaker type sessions. So they'll come in, they'll meet the rest of their cohort team, so the other
Yeah.
14 young people of the same age.
You only have a group of 15
Yeah.
together. You don't
Yeah.
go more than that.
No, we operate in groups of 15.
Attention. That's very
That's
good,
correct,
isn't
yeah, because
it?
we have the
Yes.
staff to back that up as well.
Do you really?
So for that 15, we'll have a minimum of 3 to 5 members of staff to look after
Are they
them.
paid staff? Are they volunteers? Or
No, we have a mixture of, again, volunteered, sessional posts, those that we just get paid while they're working on this programme,
I see, yes.
and you'll have those that are fully paid up, like myself.
I see, isn't that
Yep.
fascinating? And what's the sort of activities? Say, for instance, you've got a group of 15. Do you actually go away with them, or do you do the activities on site, or how do you proceed?
No, what the idea is for their residential, we go out of county. So on Monday,
Yes.
we're going to go down to Kent.
Kent, oh, that's fascinating.
Yeah, we're going to go
How
through.
do you travel?
We're going to on the coach. We're going to get all the young people on the coach.
Yes, this is one you hire yourself.
Yeah, we'll hire a coach in.
Yes.
And the staff and the young people will go on the coach. We're going to go down to Kent, as you said.
Yes.
And they're going to do the 5 days activities.
I see. Now, do the young people have to pay anything for this?
Well, the whole project actually is £50
£50
for
a week an activity.
well, yeah, but also we are also going to provide activities for them on those Saturdays that we
Yes.
talked about.
Yes.
And then there's a graduation at the end of it as well, a graduation
That's
event.
very
So it's
good.
£50 for the whole programme. However, I must stress that if a young person is very keen to do this project,
Yes.
and the funds are not there,
Yes.
from the family, and we understand that things are
Yes.
pretty tight, particularly
Yes.
going to Christmas.
Yes.
we will find a way of getting that young person into that
So it's
project.
not necessary to have the £50 to get on it?
It's not necessary, no. You know, if there's an opportunity to make a donation or, you know, cover some of the cost, but we do not.
You don't insist on payment?
No, we don't make that barrier for a young person doing the project.
To know.
No.
And now tell me, so they go down to Kent.
Yep.
Now, where do they stay?
We're staying in the youth hostel for this project,
That's very good.
near Gillingham.
Yes.
And the 5 days are going to be taken up by activities. We're going to be doing rock climbing with them. Rock
climbing? Gosh, that's interesting. What sort of rock climbing is
Well, this is, you know, proper on the rock climb face, you know. So the activity providers have been out there. They've located some areas that we can do this.
Have they?
You know, there'll probably be 30, 40, 50.
Are they roped up?
They'll be roped up, they'll be doing the rock climbing, and they'll be doing the abseiling down.
Abseiling down too, so it's quite exciting.
It's good, because they obviously, you know, if they've got any fears, you know, about heights, they can probably get over that fear. And it's all about teamwork and trust, because the young people will be doing what we call the belaying, isn't it? You know, the belaying. So when they're coming back down, the other young people that within their teams will be responsible for only letting out enough rope. So there's a little bit of trust there as well, and gaining confidence in each other.
Yes. And so it's very good training from just left school. It brings them to the real world and taking responsibility.
That's true. Yeah.
Yes.
We're going to be doing canoeing as well.
Yes. Canoeing
on the Medway. Yeah, we're doing some
Medway.
On the Medway.
That's a lovely river. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Gosh.
And there will be other things such as archery and possibly doing and some hill walking as well.
So in other words, you're giving them a whole range of. You're opening a lot of doors for them to look. And they might find hobbies or interests which will keep them going for the rest of their lives.
That's very true. Yeah.
So it's a wonderful training. I can't speak highly enough of that.
No, it is a good program, you know, and we do sometimes struggle with, you know, why are young people not jumping at this chance?
Yes, why don't they jump?
Well, I don't know. It baffles me every day. Every day that I talk to a group of young people and, you know, they don't see the interest in doing such, you know, that could enhance life skills.
Yes.
You know, and give them an excellent foot up. You know,
well, absolutely. I can't.
In this start of life, you know.
I would have thought they would be queuing up.
Well, yeah, most definitely.
Yes, but tell me, when they do all this, what do they do with themselves in the evenings, for instance?
We're providing activities for them in the evenings, team games. There's opportunities to watch DVDs and such.
Yes.
But also, just thinking that we're away for Halloween as well.
Are you?
So we are going to be getting some pumpkins for the young people, for the pumpkin carving, and we'll probably do some sort of Halloween themed event in the evening as well.
So you've look after everything.
Oh, we do. Yeah, we'll even feed them.
And you feed them.
We'll feed them.
What sort of food does the cooking for them?
Well, it's the main staff. They'll get a full breakfast in the morning, hot meal in the evening, and they'll go out on their activities, and they can there will be a packed lunch provided for them as well.
So really speaking, the whole time is occupied. Do they have to have any pocket money with them to spend? Or?
Well, no, there's really no need. Yes, there'll be like a tuck shop there if they want to get, and I know, so if they want soft drinks and that in the evenings. So not a great deal of money.
So if they've got £5 or £10 with them, they
that will see them through the week.
And they don't need to have the cash there to get on it necessarily.
No.
So it's a wonderful opportunity for them, whether their parents are hard up or not.
Definitely.
And if they have got a little bit of money, they can pay £50 per head.
That's correct.
So that sounds brilliant. Now, you did it last year. Tell me a little bit about the one you did last year, because you've had experience from it. People were involved?
Well, this was the summer programme.
Yes.
So we delivered one this summer, 2012. We delivered that for 90 young people from Suffolk.
For 90, gosh. And they've got the opportunity to get certificates and all sorts of things from it, have they?
That's correct. At the end of the programme, we have a graduation.
It really, yes.
And they get the certificate, the National Citizen Service Certificate.
Yes.
Signed by Mr. Cameron himself.
Really? So they've really got something to put on their CV.
It's something very good to put on their CV. The fact that they've been involved in the programme.
So they've got a Prime Minister's certificate.
His very own.
Very good, isn't it? Really, And this is government funded, I take it, if he's involved.
It is. It's a government programme.
Yes. Well, you see, we don't hear about things like this. There's a lot of these programmes which the government provides, we don't hear anything about it. We hear all the things that they're doing wrong, but
true enough.
a lot of things which they do right. And I think this is definitely one of them, because youngsters who can go and spend a week or so like that, and you even do first aid training, I think.
Well, that's correct. When the Saturdays that we spoke about, when they've done the residential, they then go into what we call the social action phase.
Yes.
So again, in their groups of 15, we'll meet up, and we'll also, the idea of this is that we can bring charitable organisations in to talk to them.
Yes.
Like St John's, like the Women's Royal Voluntary Service, befriending schemes as well.
Yes.
So these young people get to understand that there are schemes out there that, should they wish to, if they've really enjoyed and liked what they've seen,
yes,
they can then get, move into the volunteer sector.
I see.
But as you mentioned there, we also bring in, such as St John's, so that young people will get a certificate, so they'll get a first aid certificate.
Because that's very useful wherever they go to do, yes.
Yes. So that's on there as well. And everything that they do is really just a way of enhancing their CVs.
Yes. And those ones who were in it last year, they can now become ambassadors for this year, you were telling me.
That's correct. We've got 4 young people, which will be split between the 2 cohorts.
Yes.
We've sort of worked along with them now, and they've helped us with recruiting of young people.
Yes.
They come to our icebreaker sessions,
yes,
to meet the young people, and they sort of look after them, and they're sort of a nice link between the young people and us and the staff, if you like.
That's very good.
Because they'd probably rather talk to a young person before they'd come and talk to us.
Yes.
So, and they will look after them throughout the programme, and again, this, if they want to look further into volunteering, then we can signpost them to these organisations.
Gosh, that's very good, isn't it? So how long has Catch-22 been going now?
I think Catch-22 has been going since about, we've obviously formed from 2 charities.
Yes,
so
you said it was Crime Stoppers.
There was an organisation called Crime Concern, and Rainer. I understand they go way back.
Rainer, I haven't.
Rainer,
what does Rainer do?
Well, Rainer did this, I assume, in a similar sort of thing. They looked after youth workers, and youth projects. Crime Concern did the same, and they brought them together, I believe, in 2008, and that's how Catch-22 was formed.
I see, isn't that good? And but basically, Catch-22 now, it's gone off the crime part, and it's just it's aimed at ordinary youngsters leaving school. It's setting them up for life, in effect, finding them voluntary work, getting them certificates, opening their interests, because having hobbies is a great thing. I think you've got 1 or 2 interesting hobbies yourself, haven't you?
Well, I do like cycling.
Cycling? Yeah. That's great. Have you done anything impressive? Or?
This year I did with a charity group called Bobby on the Bike, which is mainly a group Bobby on a Bike.
Now, what's a Bobby?
Well, it's formed by police officers.
Oh,
they're the main.
Bobby as police officers.
As police officers.
Yes.
They're the main group for the charity.
Yes.
And they've raised a lot of money over the years for various those charities.
Yes.
This year we raised money for the RNLI.
Oh, really?
In both Aldeburgh and Aberystwyth, because we did a bike ride, which is 400 miles.
400 miles? How long did that take?
We did it in 4 days.
4 days? 100 miles a day?
100 miles a day, and we camped.
How many hours a day were you cycling?
Well, I suppose it depended on your own sort of ability and how long. Some people were probably out till 8, 9 o'clock at night. Some of us were doing it between, in about 6 to 7 hours. So.
And where did you stay on the nights in between?
We had campsites and hostels en route.
Oh, campsites. So did you have to carry your own gear with you?
No, we had a fantastic support team.
Oh, I see.
A couple of vans with our gear in.
So they were coming.
They would go ahead of us.
Yes.
And they'll pitch up, we'll get there, put the tents up, they'll feed us.
Yes.
And there's also feeding stations for each day as well.
Well, they really gosh, that's well organised.
Very well organised.
So presumably you were sponsored and you were raising money.
Yeah. I think their target was 15,000, but they well exceeded that.
Did they really? Gosh, you've been involved with some very worthwhile.
It was a fantastic trip.
And do you think it was your army training that sort of made you want to be community minded like this, or help towards it?
I think so. When I got involved with as a volunteer, there's always this thing that you think you should give something, that you should give something back.
Yes, yes.
We do. A lot of businesses now and organisations, we do rely on volunteers.
Yes, well, that's right.
It's a great way to get involved.
We here at Felixstowe Television and Felixstowe Radio, we rely completely on volunteers, and it's a community service, and I think all our presenters and all our volunteers for both radio and television do a magnificent job of work, and they enjoy doing it. This is the other good thing. And I think you, from the looks of it, you've been enjoying yourself doing it too.
Yeah, definitely.
But your other hobby is very interesting. This is climbing.
Well, I do like, it's more hill walking or trekking.
Yes.
I got into a couple of trips last year and the year before.
And where did you go? Did you?
With this year, I've been up to Snowdon this year, and last year I was very fortunate to be involved in a youth project where we took some young people to Norway, 30 of them.
To Norway?
Goodness. To Norway, yes. And we trekked about 80 kilometres across Norway.
Goodness gracious me. And how did you get on with the language?
Well, it was okay, because we didn't really see anybody, to be honest. They put us onto this plateau, which was north of the town of Voss.
Yes.
And we trekked, we just trekked them on the top of the, this plateau over the hills. So our sort of connection with any locals was minimal.
Yes.
Yeah, apart from a group of fishermen. We met a group of fishermen on the 5th day.
Yes.
And the idea was that the young people would catch their supper.
Oh, I see. And did they catch this?
Yeah, they got some. I mean, we had some prepped for them just in case, but nobody was going to go hungry.
That's very good. But tell me, overall, you've had a very interesting, worthwhile life, and the fact you're doing so much good work, it's great credit to you, David.
Oh, thank you.
I think that it's been a great pleasure having you with us, and all I can say is, how do people go about it now if they've heard this and they think, oh, I'd like my son, my daughter, or if it's a teenager looking in, how do they go about coming to you and joining one of these schemes?
Well, the most easy and direct route is to go on the Catch 22 website.
So they just Google Catch 22.
Google Catch 22.
Yes.
/NCS.
Yes.
For the National Citizen Service.
Yes.
That's the best way to do it, and that'll take them to the sign up page, and they can sign up.
I see.
For that project today.
Yes.
And their details will come on. They'll come direct to us, and we will make contact with them.
Oh, I see. How do you make contact? Email?
We'll email them, or we'll phone them up directly. Yeah.
And so that they could now get themselves booked in to be able to come onto this one that you're going down to Kent.
Yeah, we do still have a few places left.
You do. Well, that's very good, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, there you are. I'm sure that we've got some people looking in who either want to come themselves or who know, relatives or youngsters or friends who would like to come. I can't speak highly enough of David, because after all he's given his life 25 years in the army, and then all that time he's been doing voluntary work, and now he's been doing so much for the community, and I congratulate you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for coming along, and it's been a great pleasure having you with us. Thank you very much for looking, and we look forward to seeing you again tomorrow at 10 o'clock. Thank you for watching, and God bless you all.